You cannot make this up, man. Cannot make it up. All of a sudden, we're getting news. Caitlin Clark suffered a bone bruise in her ankle while working out in Phoenix. 2 weeks ago.
The Indiana Fever have got themselves a problem. They got themselves a real problem after, of course, we found out that Caitlin Clark suffered yet another injury literally 2 weeks to today ago.
Caitlin Clark hopped in the old DeLorean, set the date to August 7th, 2025, and injured her ankle. Oh, man.
This organization, man, it's being run like a mom and pop shop, bro. Like, God, like, what is going on?
We have to be honest here. Is there a return timeline? I don't think there is.
The Indiana Fever have triggered one of the most significant public relations disasters in recent WNBA history. And frankly, the backlash is well-deserved after what appears to be one of the most suspicious injury cover-ups in professional sports. 2 weeks after it allegedly occurred, we're suddenly hearing that Caitlin Clark suffered another injury on August 7th during a Phoenix workout. But here's the problem. The team didn't report this ankle injury until public pressure intensified over their lack of transparency regarding their billion-dollar superstar. The timing of this revelation is so convenient that even loyal Fever fans are now questioning whether anything the organization says can be trusted.
But fortunately enough for us, 13 days later, after the Fever front office feels some heat from the dark side, asking questions about what's going on with Caitlin Clark's injury, how come we haven't seen any update? We have seen absolutely zero progress. Well, now that the Fever front office is feeling that, now it's time to report on that August 7th ankle injury. Question before we even get into it, what were the odds that the Indiana Fever would miss the playoffs prior to this season taking place?
And we have one reporter saying, oh, it hasn't affected her timetable to return. But we have another reporter saying it has affected her timetable to return. What are we to believe as fans? You guys need to stop jerking us around and get it together, man. This is ridiculous.
The Indiana Fever's got $1 billion entity on their team. $1 billion damn dollars. And they're a bunch of clowns, a bunch of bozos. You guys look completely incompetent and unprofessional. The way this has been handled, oh, it's a joke. It's a joke. Look, look, they can't say anything about conspiracy theories. You're complicit in creating them because you won't be open and you won't be honest.
What began as frustration over Caitlin Clark's prolonged absence has now escalated into conspiracy theories, fan outrage, and calls for accountability in the Fever front office. Fans are demanding answers, questioning how the organization operates behind closed doors. The controversy reignited when beat reporters Scott Agnes and Chloe Peterson revealed a previously unreported ankle injury that supposedly occurred 2 weeks earlier. The timing and coordination of these reports feel less like journalism and more like damage control. According to their accounts, Clark tweaked her left ankle during a workout on August 7th, suffering what's being described as a minor bone bruise that allegedly doesn't affect her return from the groin injury. But here's the question fans can't ignore. If the injury was so minor, why are we only hearing about it now? The delay raises serious doubts about transparency and the organization's handling of its star player.
We've got two different Fever reporters, both reporting the injury did not and the injury did hamper her coming out and coming back. Which is it? It obviously hampered her coming back.
Let's take a look at the conflicting stories from the reporters. On one account, we have Chloe Peterson coming out and saying that the Caitlin Clark ankle injury does not affect her timeline. Scott Agnes is saying the complete opposite. He said, The injury has impacted, the ankle injury has impacted her availability. We have Chloe Peterson saying it doesn't. We have Scott Agnes saying it does. As fans, we don't know what the hell to believe.
These are both individuals who just kind of popped up out of nowhere. Hey, mystery injury suddenly happened 13 days ago. Please stop criticizing the Fever front office. Look over here. Look over here. But
why did it take intense public scrutiny and criticism of the Fever's communication for this information to finally surface? The most frustrating part is how conflicting the reporting has been. Scott Agnes claims the ankle injury is affecting Caitlin Clark's return, while Chloe Peterson insists it has no impact on her timeline. Which is it? An injury either matters or it doesn't. You can't present both versions as true. The confusion among reporters highlights just how rushed and reactive this damage control effort appears to be. Even more suspicious is the Fever's weeks-long silence, followed by a sudden influx of details only after fans and media demanded clarity. For over a month, supporters received vague updates about her being day-to-day, with no clear timeline. Then, as pressure mounted, a detailed report emerges about an injury that allegedly occurred 2 weeks earlier. Information that somehow wasn't considered newsworthy until the organization needed a narrative to explain its mismanagement.
And I don't even think these reporters are all getting the same information. Either that or they're just lying, telling contradicting stories. At first, she was a game time decision, right? And then, this is before the All-Star game. Then they said she's questionable for the All-Star game. Just for her to then pull out of the three-point shootout in the All-Star game the day before. Then they did a whole nother test and scanning and all that, and they said it was no more damage. They were hopeful she'd be back this week. This is in the beginning of August. They was hoping to have her back that week, and she had been doing sprints and on-court work, etc. But you're saying it's multiple weeks away. What's the truth?
She was day to day. She got injured, I don't know the exact date, but let's just say she got injured July the 14th. It was in and around that date. On July the 15th, she was listed as questionable. It's the 20th of August, and now we've got a random injury being reported from 2 weeks ago.
what was the payout for somebody that said, if the Indiana Fever don't make the playoffs, and they submitted that ticket on FanDuel, DraftKings, the Borgata, the Hard Rock, whatever, what's the payout on a bet like that? How much is how much is the individual who put that bet out going to make? How much is Stephanie White? How much is the individual that was so smart and thought ahead to know that some of this stuff was going to transpire?
I've said, I was saying Larry Bird for coach. No, hire Larry Bird as the team president. Hire Mark Jackson as the coach. Or Bill Lambier. Get some NBA people in there that have no connection or agenda to this league, personally or professionally.
The circulating video footage makes the situation even more alarming. In the clips, it appears a coach steps on Caitlin Clark's ankle during practice, and her immediate reaction clearly shows visible pain. Chloe Bibby's response indicates she knew exactly which ankle was injured, suggesting this wasn't a minor incident being exaggerated. This raises two possibilities. Either the coaching staff is so negligent that they're inadvertently injuring their billion-dollar star, or the injury is more serious than the organization is admitting, with the official timeline serving as yet another cover-up for mismanagement.
With the injury, and now got stepped on by the coach, and I think she's going to be all right based upon the grin on her face. But
So clearly, she has a mild bone bruise, and her coach stepped on her ankle. Oh my God, imagine a bruise in her left ankle. Oh my God. She might have re-aggravated a damn ankle injury when her coach stepped on it.
And she did get her ankle stepped on, and that was her left ankle that she is holding. Maybe she did actually injure her ankle in practice, and that reaction right there is the reaction of somebody who tweaked something in their ankle, has a significant bruise in their ankle, and then a light 120-pound lady steps on her foot, and now she's thriving in pain, jumping around on the sidelines. Again, folks, I'm just asking questions here because this is such craziness that we're, stepped on my left ankle, there's Chloe Bibby.
got stepped on.
There's Chloe Bibby looking like, oh, is that the ankle that you tweaked? Ooh, that might be the ankle that you tweaked. Ooh.
The financial fallout from the Fever's mishandling of Caitlin Clark's injury situation is staggering. Fans have spent thousands on tickets, travel, and accommodations expecting her return, only to realize the organization either mismanaged information or deliberately misled supporters for short-term gain. The lack of transparency and basic professionalism is embarrassing for a franchise that should be operating at the highest level of women's professional basketball. Clark is a billion-dollar asset in terms of economic and marketing value. Yet the Fever treated her injury updates like amateur hour, offering contradictory reports and leaving fans to speculate. Stephanie White's sarcastic remarks about fans spotting Clark during practice only worsened the perception of arrogance and poor communication. The result? Conspiracy theories, suspicion of mismanagement, and even speculation about gambling or deliberate season manipulation, none of which would exist if the organization had simply been honest. The handling of this situation exposes serious issues with both the medical staff and front office. Clark, previously durable and nearly injury-free, suddenly faces multiple soft tissue injuries that conveniently appear at times aligning with narrative gaps in communication. Whether it's misdiagnosis, mishandled rehab, or deliberate obfuscation, fans and observers see a pattern of incompetence or deception. Comparisons to other professional teams make the Fever's failure even more obvious. When stars like LeBron James or Steph Curry are injured, teams provide clear updates, honest timelines, and regular communication, understanding that transparency builds trust. The Fever, by contrast, have kept supporters in the dark, creating a vacuum filled with contradictory information and doubt. The broader implications are serious. Trust is eroding not just for the Fever, but for the entire WNBA. Fans who feel manipulated are less likely to renew tickets, buy merchandise, or engage with the league in the future. The organization's failures also threaten its ability to attract and retain talent, as players and agents take note of poor communication and mismanagement. Media involvement has also been problematic. Injury reports emerging only at strategically convenient times, sometimes weeks after incidents, suggest coordinated attempts to control the narrative. Meanwhile, the league office remains silent, failing to intervene even as one franchise damages the credibility of its most important star. Clark herself faces mental and emotional strain, navigating conspiracy theories and public scrutiny while recovering from injury. The social media response has been relentless, with fans documenting contradictions and demanding accountability, further amplifying the Fever's communication failures. Ultimately, this entire saga highlights systemic problems in the organization and, by extension, the league. The Fever have destroyed trust with their fan base, mismanaged a transcendent player, and exposed the league to reputational and financial risk. All of this could have been avoided with honest, transparent communication from the start. The stakes are clear. Mishandling a star of Clark's caliber is not just a PR failure. It is financial, operational, and ethical malpractice. Short-term attempts to avoid difficult conversations will pale in comparison to the long-term cost of rebuilding credibility, trust, and fan engagement. The Fever needs structural changes, accountability, and professional oversight, or risk permanent damage to their reputation, finances, and the WNBA as a whole.